So good afternoon, everyone. If we start, could everybody just stand up a moment, please? And I want you to give a really rousing cheer and round of applause for yourselves, please. Good. Thank you very much. The reason for that is often talent acquisition it's not seen as strong as some other departments. HR or marketing, we're the guys that have to quickly fill the positions, and we don't get the credit that we sometimes deserve. But ask yourself this: what is the most important function in a business? To hire the right people, to do it quickly, and to get the very best out there. That's what we do, and we should be more appreciated. So thank you for that round of applause. And for the sound guys, if you can edit that at the end of my talk, then it'll look better at the end. Thank you. So it's great to speak here today, and I'm going to talk to you about SAP and what we've been doing. My colleague is here, Adam. Would you like to stand up and wave your hand? So afterwards, if you want any in-depth questions, Adam is the person, because I'm the showman and the performing seal, and he does the work behind the scenes. So you can ask him the details. So SAP, I'm not going to talk about us too much, but we're a company of 80,000 individuals. Global business, IT software, moving rapidly to the cloud, but you can see the statistics and hopefully you can enjoy that when you look at the presentation afterwards. So the key thing to say is poor recruitment is easy. Post and pray, bang it up on a job board, kick back, put your feet up, and then take those candidates, pick a handful, give it to the hiring manager, and boom, you're a hero. That hiring manager's under pressure to fill the roles. They'll take some of those and they'll say, yeah, that's okay, that's a great job. But then good recruitment is hard. But the best recruitment is an art, and that's something that we're trying to look at SAP. How do we move and get ourselves to be seen as great recruiters and in the art? So who knows your company best? We looked at that. We work with a lot of creative agencies at the end of the day. We used to. And we used to trot off and ask these agencies, can you help design us this? Can you help define what our company is? Can you help define our EVP, etc., etc.? Then we started to think, when we spend all this time briefing these creative agencies, we can do this ourselves. We can start to form a team. So at SAP, we started to form our own creative team. So when the business comes to us and they want to run a digital campaign and create images and banners and posters and material and swag, we can start to develop that now. So within our team, we have digital marketeers, we have artists, we have content producers. So we now can do it yourself. So that's the key thing we're saying. If you have the possibility to start doing some of the things we're going to talk about yourselves, then please look at those resources. EVP. The great thing is that you can go into a marketing department and they can help you define an EVP. That message, they want you to help project. We're a great place to work. Why are we a great place to work? Because we have a unique culture. You know, we all work hard and we play hard. All those traditional cliched phrases that the poor old candidate goes out there and they look at an EVP message and they go, wow, that company works hard and plays hard. Next website, wow, that company works hard and plays hard. And you see that message coming through and you start to think, how confusing for a candidate when every company is saying the same thing. It's not the right way forward. So the key thing for us is that's why we're here today, Glassdoor. That is the true reflection of your employment brand. It is what people are saying about you in the marketplace today. Be it good, be it bad, embrace it, but that's what your company is all about. We've just redesigned our whole EVP around that. We're focused on employee stories, and employee stories not just of people at work, but their whole life stories, what makes them an individual. A working mum, what do they do apart from come in and they work hard and they're an exec leader? They have a family to look after. They go out and have fun. They play, they work, etc. People want to hear how people balance their lives, and that's what the reflection of our EVP is. So we've designed one, and you'll see some of the new material that we got coming out very soon, but we're focused on pulling out those life stories, as most companies are in this room today, I'd imagine. When we look at the materials we have, is that we used to rely a lot on stock photography, rushing off and looking at those cheesy image of an employee standing there, maybe a shirt and tie, with a message underneath saying we're a great place to work. But who is your company? It is your employees. So we decided we'll embrace their photography. We'd take what they truly imagine our company to be and use that in our marketing materials. So we've set up global photo competitions. We've got a photo competition running this very moment called Pets at SAP, where our employees are sending photos in of their pets, and then we start to judge them, and then we put it out to a crowdsourced vote for people to take a decision. It may sound nuts, but it's engaged the workforce. People are talking about this. And we've had over 4,000 entries within the last 10 days already for this. And it shows that our employees can take best pictures of themselves in their work environment, in their play environment, and those are the photos that we're going to be using in our new EVP. We looked at what services we gave our business, and we decided that we don't have the biggest budgets. We don't have that money, and the hiring manager comes to us and they say, Matthew, can we do this digital marketing campaign here in Russia? We want to do X, Y, Z. I go back and say, I don't have the budgets to do that. They start to get frustrated. So we thought, why do we always get the heat, the pressure? So why don't we turn the heat back onto our hiring managers? So we set up an employment brand menu. This is a menu that details all the services that we can provide, the costs and the materials that we would have to use if we're using digital job boards or web banners, etc., etc. We put that in there, and then we go back to the hiring manager with a recommendation with a platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and a free service. And then the hiring manager comes back to us with what they want to do. If they pick the platinum service, the onus is on us to show the return on investment with the data and make sure the campaign's a success. If they come back with a campaign which is free and it doesn't work out, guess who the manager's going to be speaking to? Why did you select that campaign? Why didn't you invest in it? The heat is no longer on us, and so having a menu like that really helps us fully cost it out. In terms of our marketing communications, being able to do things in-house now, we've looked at things like candidate experience. We looked at how does a candidate truly understand what we're like as a place to work. We would expect them to go to our career site, have a delve around, maybe some of the materials. And then we thought, let's send them an insights pack or an interview pack. So every candidate coming in now has that insight into our company, its culture, our product strategy, latest results. So when they come into that interview, they should be very briefed. And when that hiring manager asks them a question of, why do you want to join SAP? What's so special about us? If they're fumbling around in the dark, that manager then go, well, you didn't do much research on us. You can't really want to come to us because we gave you that information at the start. As well as our focus is making sure our recruiters have the best materials and how to do things. We set up something called a recruiter playbook. What's that about? Our recruiters need to understand what are the job boards out there, why do we select them, what are the costs involved, how should we use different material, what is our EVP, what is our marketing messages, how do we sell SAP, what are the objections that candidates can raise and how do we overcome them. By providing this material in one place, we can help control, probably not the right word, we can help empower individuals and recruiters to then represent our company in a stronger way. Now, the career site, without doubt, is the shop window to the world. And obviously, nowadays, we have to make sure it's mobile enabled and it's able to accept mobile applications online, which is always a challenge in the current environment. But for us as well, look at how do we improve the level of service that that career site gives us. So one of the things that we're looking at in launching very soon is a live customer service operator. When you go to the main SAP.com site, you'll see there's live chat and you can speak to some of our operators out in the globe. We're going to bring that into recruitment so people can ask recruitment questions while on that website, hence enhancing that candidate experience. And yes, that costs money, but when we factored in our recruiters are having to continually answer the same old questions all the time, and it's coming in from our candidates, answering these ahead of the curve on the career site could be a great way of doing it. So that's a new aspect that we're focused on. Now, when I look at social media nowadays, I look at some of the top companies in the UK. I look at the FTSE 100 and I go to their career sites and their Facebook pages. And I go on there because I'm wowed and I see some of the big companies, they've got 1 million likes or followers on their pages. And I think, wow, and then I hear them come up on a conference stage and like a gorilla beat their chest and we've got 1 million followers, look at that, beat that. And then you look at their page and you start to think, it's not about the number, it's about the engagement. I go on your page and I see 3 likes, 1 comment, no shares, and I keep going down each of the articles and I just think, That is a community you're broadcasting to. They're bored rigid with you. You've got 1 million followers. If I'm a candidate and I look at that page and I think, they can't engage their people, they're just putting content out which is pure broadcast. So for us, we're looking at things. We've got 40,000 followers, no way as big as a number of the companies even in this room today. But when you look at some of the engagement rates, we're focused on making sure that there's material which represents our company and it wants to be shared. And we'll touch on some of that in a minute. The common themes are obviously things like video. People prefer to watch that. They like an insight into your company. But things like cartoon and games and insights like that are something, very, very powerful. Even something on our CEO there, Bill McDermott, who you can see there, having a reach there of 76,000 people with an engagement level of 7,886. The number of likes in that figure, that's phenomenal for a career site Facebook page. That's because we're just clued into content has to be engaging and social must be that pipeline. And yes, content can be fun. I mentioned our pet competition, but then, around the offices of the world, people going to lunch, what they eat, what they're doing outside of work, etc. That's what we truly want to know and get to grips with, not the latest barrage of company results of, wow, we're up 0.21% of a turnover on the previous quarter, so we're an even better place to work. Yes, those sort of things matter, but it's more about the culture and the people and the engagement at the end of the day. So I can remember at SAP, I went into our marketing department and said, I want to run a cartoon. They laughed at me and they said, what do you want to do a cartoon for? That's nothing to do with you in recruitment. Why on earth? I said cartoons are some of the most engaging factors, and if we deploy it in the right way and we launch that and have a weekly or a bi-weekly cartoon telling stories within SAP with characters that people can engage with, that we'll start to see people wanting to come to the site to repeat and to go in and share. So you'll see on our site now we have those weekly cartoons. Those cartoons are getting 500 to 700 likes. When we animated a GIF recently, it had 1,700 likes, which for our careers Facebook page was a big thing. And we're finding people are talking about this, candidates coming in and saying, love that cartoon, love the candidates, etc., and how they're operating within the environment. So, yes, it may be a little bit different, but some people say, well, you've got the money to spend on that, you can do it. Again, we originally looked at university students to help us. They're there. They like projects. Why not engage them? There's some talented artists in the UK, especially in London, who would love to do this thing and get the brand exposure of doing cartoons for your company. So again, that's something to consider. Now, I promised Recruiter magazine, which is out now online and comes out physically in the shops tomorrow. They have an exclusive on some of the things that we're doing at the moment. But we're launching a game. So again, the marketing department, you can imagine, Matthew, what are you doing a game for now? You're just going power mad with all these different things. But I said, again, it comes down to engagement. How can we start to get people to perceive SAP in a different way and to engage? So we've created a game, which you'll see very soon in the next week or so, which is fun to play. It's addictive, but we've tried something different, that we've launched it, that it's going to be hooked into assessment. So it's a game that quite readily you would play on your iPhone or iPad or on a site, but you'll think, well, this is quite fun. But behind the scenes, we've linked it to some assessment technology, because the way you play it determines much about your character and how you think about things and how you adjust. So we give you much more reports on how that goes, but something a little bit different in the way that we're thinking. Now, I remember going back and SAP was not one for winning awards, and it was like, oh, that's just a way of just, glorifying yourselves and doing that. What I learned about awards was it motivates people. It motivates the team, it motivates employees, and then when they're motivated and the teams are on fire, senior management take notice. That is the way I've grown the headcount of my team. In employment branding, I had 4 people 2 years back. We're now at 13. That's because they've seen the results, they've seen the pipelines of candidates coming through, they've seen how we're doing things, and now the SAP organisation sees great places to work. What a great thing to enter and see and put yourselves up against benchmarks versus your peers. Same with top employers, and the same with Glassdoor, which is obviously why we're here today. Now for us, Glassdoor has become the measure for the employment brand. Our CEO gets a monthly report to see what his standing is and what the SAP standing is. And over the last 15 months, even less than that, Adam will correct me, we've moved from a 3.7 rating to 4.1. Now, that's because we're focused more now on engaging people and encouraging them to actually leave their feedback on Glassdoor. Our candidates, when they come in for interview, people coming in off induction, we want anybody to give their opinion, and it may be bad. And the great thing is that we can look at those areas, and there are different places in Europe, as Adam frequently tells me, which don't have the best ratings. We go back into the business and we message this back and say, look at the rest of SAP, look at the other offices. Why is this office not performing? HR suddenly have a burden on their shoulders to then try and work out how do we work with the business to make sure we're a better place to be. So that's really helped us with Glassdoor. So I've had a number 5 from the back. Was that a mark out of 10 for the presentation, was it? Or was that 5 minutes left? Okay. So with assessments, we looked at assessments and we thought, wow, it's quite scary that at the less experienced levels of recruitment, people who have been in only 1 to 5 years experience, that we lead them to the subjectivity of a recruiter. We get large volume of people coming through, and the recruiter, under pressure, will look at the traditional things and try and work out, oh, they work for that company, they must be a rock star. We put them through to interview. Oh, look at that, they went to Oxford, Cambridge, or Imperial, or Manchester. They're the best universities in the UK. We must put those to the manager. Is that the hiring that we've really come to? We saw that as the way we looked at university hiring and some of our sort of less experienced hiring as quite elitist. That wasn't the best way for a meritocracy. What about those students who may be studying at other universities, who are the candidates that are really hungry, who have the skill sets and the aptitude and the intelligence to make a difference, but because of our recruiter subjectivity, they were excluded. Now, I would have probably been excluded from that had I, from my university, when I would have applied. And that's a dreadful thing to look at. So we looked at assessments. So we've launched assessments that are killing a number of birds in one stone. Reducing recruiter workload, because they don't have to sit there and they filter through. It's a better candidate experience. Why is it a better experience if they're going through a computer? The computer, well, look at the candidate experience now for a lot of companies. Somebody will apply for a job, spend 15 to 20 minutes, get that bounce back email, thank you very much, the recruiter will come back to you if you have the right skills and experience. Then they sit on the database for the next 6 to 12 months before they're erased under data protection. Is that candidate experience? Is that what we aspire to? So when we look at automation of some of these things, we're actually improving the quality of candidates, but how can we help the candidate? So when they've invested that 15 to 20 minutes on the assessment, they get a bounce back, but they get a bounce back 3 to 4 page report telling them whether they're a culture fit and a role fit for SAP and letting them know if they're coming in for interview. They love that because they're actually getting that feedback live rather than going into database and hoping, beyond hope, that the recruiter comes back. So for us, assessments is a way forward on those more less experienced levels. How does this help the hiring manager? Hiring manager's getting a higher quality of candidate, but at the same time, the assessment generates the questions they should ask. Because we know they rush from a meeting and then into an interview and, oh, what am I going to ask this person? But now they get that premeditated list of questions that they can focus on and choose to ask or ignore. And then day one, when that candidate comes in, there's a training report ready for them because we can see the skill sets where they are stronger and they are weaker, and we can work on those to build up that training plan. So for us, looking at assessments is not the demon. It is a way that we can improve candidate experience, improve quality of hire, and speed up life for the recruiter. All of this is well and good, and there's stuff here, but at the end of the day, we're all about data, and it's about measuring what you do. Quality of hire, time per hire, cost per hire. Some of those stats are anachronistic in this modern age. If you say to a hiring manager, I can fill your role within 5 days, they go, brilliant. But if they're crappy candidates, then that 5 days hitting that target is a waste of time. The same with cost per hire. If you get rubbish candidates coming through and you're avoiding spending on some of the materials or the marketing you do, and you're still filling, but they're not the best candidates, although if you invest and you get the best candidate who smashes sales targets and doubles or triples what they're supposed to do, again, these are the things that we look at in terms of what we're doing and measuring. And I could spend a whole hour on measuring because it's so important. So to conclude, because I had the 1 minute sign, my advice today is challenge everything. Is that you can come into recruitment and you can just do the job and tick by day and take the paycheck. If you want to make a difference, challenge your manager, push them hard, learn what other companies are doing, push your business, stand up to that hiring manager and tell them that you know your job better than they do. And that may come for a shock for some of those hiring managers. Don't fear innovation and technology. Embrace it because it can enhance what we do and the quality of what we do. So I'm saying embrace data, embrace mobile, and get those measurements. And again, is TA the most critical part of business? If we hire the best salespeople, we hire the best developers, then surely we're the most important function in the business. Thank you for your time today.
You mentioned a couple of slides back that you don't necessarily look at cost or time to hire. Kind of establishing an employer branding function, one of the key things that the business is saying is, what are your measures of success? So what do you look at as your kind of top 2 or top 3 things for your team to be successful for measurement?
So for us, I think this question was top stats because some of the acoustics were a little bit echoey for me there. So for us, we're looking at things like quality of hire. So what does quality of hire truly mean? So the first thing, we hire a lot of salespeople. So we can look at how many of those salespeople have got 0 to 25% a quota in 6 months, 25 to 50%, 50% to 75%, 75 to 100, then 100% plus. And then look at that on 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months. And then we can see our impact because as a holistic whole, we can see the quality of hire through that. We also look at and try and measure from the annual appraisal, the grade that people are given, etc., and we see how many people in the year 1 are getting above target or significantly above target in their gradings. How many people have got below target, how many people have managed out, how many people have attrited in that time as well. So those are interesting things. When we start to get into some of the other things is that you can get into healthy debates on cost per hire and time per hire and that sort of thing, and it becomes quite stone age with the business when you start to debate some of those things because they're such a grey area that you can lose value to. So quality of hire is our big thing, but engagement levels on social media, we have something called RMK, which is our marketing platform, but through it we can look at the data of where every candidate has come through on a source of hire. So which job boards are performing, which are the best areas, Glassdoor is doing very well for us, and we can then take those measurements and go back to the business and show them. Because traditionally the recruiters would go, let's use Monster for this one. It's like, why? You may get a lot of candidates. Do we make interviews or hires from these companies? Then we started to get that data, and some of the niche job boards, which have very small numbers of candidates coming through, we could see that there was hires and interviews coming through. So data, again, like that, is critical for us to monitor.
Hi, Matthew. The assessment generator, when candidates apply online, and then they get this immediate 3 or 4 page feedback, are they the right fit or cultural fit, etc. Was that something you developed internally, or was it something?
So no, we partner with a company called Chemistry, who helped us design that assessment. There are other assessment vendors out there, and I'm sure there's in-house programming teams maybe in some companies that can help. But there's ways of doing this with and without budget at the end of the day. So Chemistry was the one that we selected. Some of this information that you heard today, as I said, Recruiter Magazine is out tomorrow, so there's more details in that if you want to follow up. But hopefully that was good today. Thank you very much, everyone.